Welcome, wrestling fans, to the PW Fan. The PW Fan is a pro wrestling podcast created by fans for fans, and we appreciate you joining us for episode 32. I'm your host, representing the old school wrestling fan, collector, barber, and singer of Fall Bright, Talk Wrestling, Tim Gilbert.
And I'm your host, the architect of pro wrestling podcast, and your favorite Funko Pop collector, Andy.
I'm also your host, a no selling wrestling indie fan and huge football fan, Jeremy.
Hey, now Jeremy, we're talking real football, right? European football.
Yes, as the rest of the world calls it, football.
If you want to talk,
yes,
Jeremy
only America doesn't call it football.
Yes. If you want to talk to Jeremy, if you want to talk to Jeremy about real football, you can find Jeremy on social media. Today, we are going to be talking about Cody Rhodes having his first match on Raw in 6 years. Samoa Joe wins the ROH television title, Battle of the Belts 2, and more. But first, head on over to ProWrestlingTees.com where you can get yourselves one of these bad boys right here. If you're watching on YouTube, where you can watch our videos, you can go to YouTube and search the PW Fan. You're going to want to go to ProWrestlingTees.com / the PW Fan to pick yourself up a pocket logo tee. Please give us the 5-star rating on Spotify and also check us out on Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate it. I think that covers all that stuff. You know, I kind of hate going over the social media stuff, but you know what it is? It's such a necessary thing. But I just want like the listeners to know that that's kind of something that we have to get through, but you know, we're really here to talk about wrestling. So, Andy, why don't you get us started like always, buddy?
Alrighty, before we get into the shows, as usual, a couple things that don't have to do with them that I wanted to talk about. I've been talking to people, just people I know that are wrestling fans, and they seem to think that there's a rumor out there that they eventually are bringing back the big gold belt.
Wait,
Thoughts?
you've been talking to people who are not wrestling fans.
Who are wrestling fans.
Oh,
they're
okay.
like, I heard this. And I'm like, I didn't hear that. And then other people came up to me and said, I heard this. I was like, and it was about the gold belt again. I was like, I didn't hear this. And I know you, Tim, love the big gold belt.
That is
Classic
my favorite.
WCW, Triple H.
It's my favorite belt.
Yeah.
I think it's the most gorgeous belt. I have a replica of it sitting right here. My two favorite belts. Let me nerd out for a second here. I know that some people are really into collecting belts. So, like, I'm sure there's a ton of people that put my little collection to shame. I only have two. And they're both pretty expensive. So I can't imagine that being, like, my main collectible that I'm into. So the big gold that we're talking about.
That was your first one
gorgeous.
you ever got, is the big gold.
Yes, that was a gift. Actually, both of these are gifts from my wife, which it's so sweet that she even entertains any of this. So she got me the big gold, like, what was it, Andy? Like 3 or 4 years ago on Christmas. And then last year on my birthday, my other favorite title is the Undisputed, which I always, in my head, I associate it with two people. I associate it with Brock, young Brock, like next big thing Brock, and then Eddie Guerrero. But to me, it's the Eddie Guerrero belt. So that's why I have it. Rest in peace. I love Eddie Guerrero.
So yeah, I wonder if they're gonna combine Reigns' belt. If that, I mean, that'd be the only way to bring it back, is if that's what the belt would end up replacing. But I thought it was a cool rumor if it is true, because I really like that title. And I know
It's better
Tim
than any
does.
designs they're coming up with right now.
Dude, the new ones are just generic as hell.
It's a big W symbol.
Just big W on it.
So the big gold belt, I mean, you got to think about how old that was, you know? At this point, that design has stood the test of time. And I'm actually looking up right now, doing a little Joe Rogan style when we're looking up live, who who the designer is, if I can find it. I'm not as efficient as whoever Joe Rogan's sidekick is.
Jamie from Joe Rogan. Jamie. Yeah.
There's a name that Conrad always mentions, and I wish I could remember who it is, but I can't find it right now, so I'm not going to waste the listeners.
That belt by the name, yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not going to waste the listeners' time, but it's, to me, it is the most gorgeous classic belt. Like, I don't know. When I think pro wrestling, the title in my head, it's that one. Now, there are an equal number of people who I would say probably associate the Winged Eagle, later Hulk Hogan Bret Hart title as like being their title. I just so happen to love the ruthless aggression dynamic between the world heavyweight and the undisputed.
Not to mention, it was the title all through WCW Monday Night Wars.
I mean, Hogan spray painted it. Ric Flair had his big run with it even earlier. I mean, to me, that's the belt. But if they brought it back, which I'm going to be honest with you, I know you heard the rumors. I don't think it's going to happen. I want to be
probably
wrong.
But if they did.
No, but if they do, I will be stoked.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. I read up a little bit about Vince's whole rules for the name change stuff.
Ridiculous.
So his rule is, unless you're certain people who have been there a while, like Randy Orton, you can't use your real name, first or last. Even if it's just your first name, it can't be your real first name. So, for example, Raquel Gonzalez, or last name. So one or the other or both, it can't happen. So, like, for example, Raquel Gonzalez got called up. Well, Gonzalez was her real last name. Raquel was not. So the last name got changed. Though people like Randy Orton, who have obviously been there, don't have to change their name. This apparently is because in case they go anywhere else, they don't want them using, like, say Austin Theory could say they owned Theory, but he could go somewhere and just be Austin, and yeah, it's pretty much that.
They just want to own the property of the name, so they can't use it.
They don't want people using WWE property anywhere.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason behind it.
That is, like, on Chris Jericho's podcast, he actually had one of the, I think it's a lawyer guy who handles all, like, all the rights for the names for the wrestlers. So he got Billy Gunn his name back from WWE, because you just have to prove that you've been using it before you were in WWE, which most of them have already. So
Gotcha.
That's why I'm guessing they changed it now.
Okay. So yeah, I found out those details because last week there was a bunch of name changes with the call-ups and all that, and
it's still annoying.
It's really annoying. But and I think Walter was Walter's real first name, and so they changed it. So that's
which
kind
is
of the
interesting.
Direction they're going with that, and why.
You know, with all this going on, though, it just has to make you think, like, dude, Cody has, like, good for him. He's reached some sort of level where he's like, not only am I going to use my real name, it's going to be two names. It's not going to be like Cody or just the name Rhodes or whatever. I'm going to be my regular character. I'm going to use my own theme music. Like, I don't know how they convinced everybody to let him do that, but that's crazy, if considering what we were just talking about with how strict they are with certain things.
Yeah, I don't know how, but he freaking did it, and he was able to keep the music, keep the character, keep everything. Literally, just take him out, put him in another like slot.
It's crazy.
I still feel like Vince did it mainly. I mean, like Cody wasn't, didn't need to be changed either, but I still feel like part of Vince doing it was because he's like, I just want to sign on from AEW.
Yeah.
Well,
basically.
if you think about it, it's kind of the
Cody won't
ultimate,
be the last either to go over.
It's kind of like the ultimate, like, it's like, hey, that was your guy. Like that was your figurehead, your face of the company, like, and it's like, look, I just took him away, and I'm gonna keep him exactly the same. Like, and I'd almost feel like Vince is very, I don't. Malicious is a word that comes to mind. He just seems like calculated in his like he's like the ultimate troll. Like he's like, dude, I have been doing this for so long. I know exactly what to do to fuck with you.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, since we're talking about Cody real quick, I don't know if you guys heard his latest comments about leaving AEW or anything like that, but he basically
was on Ryan
said,
Satin recently, today, I think.
Yeah. He said he was too immature for the role, for management role in AEW when he was 33.
Yeah, and he regretted canceling himself out of the title picture.
Yeah,
but also, apparently, Dan Lambert handed him like the old WWF title, the one that Dusty was pictured in that promo with, handed it to him, and Cody held it and was like, fuck, and basically knew, like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And, like,
but I just thought that was kind of like, I don't know. It still proves to me that he's too immature to handle a management position if he's saying all this stuff like he just wants to be a wrestler and doesn't want to focus on anything else. So I guess it's a good move.
I believe
he tried, and then
I believe I'm looking back in my library right now. You know, your boy's got the archive.
What are you looking at, Tim?
Let me see. Yeah, here it is. I think that the title that they're referring to is Dusty got it from superstar Billy Graham, and I have that match actually on this DVD. And
no, it's a title that Dusty never won. He only held. It's the one that was in the picture that Cody showed on the promo.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That
like
he only ever got to hold it, and then they took it away.
He faced him in Madison Square Garden twice, and it was a big deal because Dusty wasn't from the WWF, and
gotcha.
He came. It was like kind of like an interpromotional thing, and he lost 2 matches, but it was at Madison Square Garden, and it drew huge money. And I always remember because I watched this. This is actually a crazy documentary. It's a shame DVDs don't get any love anymore, but yeah, it tells the whole story of that Dusty picture that you're talking about. It's really cool.
Okay, sweet. I didn't know Billy Graham was a champion at the time. Yeah,
it was like they did like they did
promo.
like a fantasy match basically, and they did 2 or I think it was even they might have done 3, but it was like they did these big matches at Madison Square Garden, and it like people went crazy.
Oh, cool. Okay, have to check it out. I want to get to the last thing before we get into the shows real quick. I didn't get to see it, but Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay apparently had a really good match over the weekend. I think it was a New Japan match, and I think it set up a future match with Moxley and can't remember, but I think Moxley won, and yeah, I just heard it was a really good match, so I want to check it out sometime.
Yeah, it's kind of a good thing. You might want to go back and watch it because I've heard the live stream for their New Japan show they just did was cutting in and out, and like at parts there was like no audio. So
I watched a couple of clips.
We'll go back and watch it.
Yeah, I watched a couple of clips of it.
Oh, did you? Okay, I haven't seen anything.
Just on Twitter though, like people that had like screen recorded stuff and like posted it. So I haven't gotten to actually watch it.
Cool.
Moxley was, of course, busted open, but
I think they both got busted open from what I heard.
Yeah,
I think so.
When is Mox not getting busted open? But let's get into Raw. So Raw opened up with Cody Rhodes on Miz TV.
Man, this segment,
Cody was basically talking.
I was into it.
Cody
I was in
talking
it
about how. Yeah, he was basically. I'm trying to remember. I mean, now it's Monday. It's been a week, but he was talking about how Cody's changed. He's became a completely different wrestler in person, and Miz is basically the exact same. Yeah. What else do you guys remember?
Well, he said,
I just know it was really good. Both are good talkers.
He said at one point, I do remember the line sticking out where he said, "I'm going to tell you something, Miz, that you're probably not used to hearing on this show. Is I respect you." And they kind of like went with that. They kind of leaned into that for a second. And then Cody talked about how he's going to have his first match on Raw in however many years. What did we say? 6 years?
Yeah.
And that was the big setup for the night. I don't know if Jeremy remembers anything more.
Didn't he mention a few things like... Yeah, didn't he mention a few things like when Cody called it a belt instead of a championship?
Yes, so Cody's character is basically he's allowed to say things wrong and he's supposed to get corrected. So he said he called it a belt, and Miz said, "Belts are for holding up your pants." He's like, "Championships, belts are for holding up your pants." And then instead of saying, he said
wrestlers,
like the best pro wrestling companies, like, or pro wrestlers. He said superstars or something like that.
Both things I hate, but it was funny during this.
Yeah. A little bit after that, we had a match with Veer and Dominic. Veer injured Dominic, so I'm guessing we're gonna get a
he killed him.
Veer versus Rey Mysterio or some shit in the future.
He killed him for 20 minutes. And the announcer just kept being like, "Oh God!"
Yeah, I think he sent him in a stretcher afterwards.
Oh my God!
Let's move on to the actual Cody Rhodes versus The Miz match. This was surprisingly longer than I thought it would be, just because it is The Miz. But they went for a little while. The winner was Cody in the end. They made Cody seem like he was really putting up a fight, though. Seth comes out, though, afterwards and confronts Cody and challenges to a rematch at WrestleMania Backlash. And Cody Rhodes accepts.
It's Backlash.
Yeah. In which Backlash is always basically the same match you just saw at Mania.
Yeah. I really hate this for Cody. I mean, he makes it really good still, but I just hate that it's just like a rematch as his first actual pay-per-view leading up to it.
Well, same thing with Edge and Randy. Edge's first match back was against Randy at Mania, and then they did the greatest wrestling match ever at WrestleMania Backlash.
That was the longest. What was it, 35 minutes or whatever?
Stupid name.
Yeah.
God. Stupid name with a stupid match.
A little bit later on, guys, we had Tommaso Ciampa is now on Raw. He didn't have a match during the night, but there was a backstage segment, and they're welcoming him to Raw, and Ezekiel walks up and welcomes him. And then Kevin...
What was his name?
Not Elias. It's not Elias. Ezekiel.
Oh, okay, because you were like,
it's not Elias. Ezekiel walked up, and it's not Elias, guys. And he welcomes him, and Tommaso Ciampa thanks him. Then Kevin Owens runs up and starts saying that it's Elias and it's not Ezekiel. And, he says, "Stop saying you're Ezekiel and not Elias. I don't like liars and you're a liar." And Kevin Owens ends up walking away, and Ciampa looks back at the interviewer, and he's like, "That's definitely Ezekiel." He's like, "It's not Elias." So this is a big joke on the audience and everyone. I mean, dude, I'm all here for it. The memes are starting to be really funny about it, and Ezekiel is putting out pictures with him standing next to Elias, saying people will say it's haters will say it's photoshopped. It's like, dude, and his handle now on Instagram is not Elias WWE or I am not Elias WWE or something like that.
Yeah.
I actually think it's really funny. I know Jeremy.
So far, they've
too.
done it perfectly. Yeah, I love this.
It's not like they're trying to fool us or think we're dumb. They're just like, we're just throwing it right in your face and telling you, basically.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, it's a great joke. I mean, WWE sometimes does comedy horribly, but this is a really good one so far.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I didn't think I would. Normally, I probably wouldn't be a fan of this kind of thing, but I do like this. Lastly, on Raw, Bianca Belair's out in the ring, and Sonya Deville comes out because Bianca wants or needs an opponent for her first title defense, and Sonya says, "If you sign this contract, you'll sign it for a match against your first opponent, and I'll bring him out here." So Bianca signs the contract, and then Sonya Deville attacks her and says that she's the next challenger. So it looks like at WrestleMania Backlash. I hate that I have to keep saying the full fucking thing, but then your next premium live event, WrestleMania Backlash, is Bianca Belair versus Sonya Deville. Yeah, that pretty much wrapped up Raw. Let's hop into Dynamite. It was a little bit more exciting than these WWE shows this week. Like SmackDown, I only had one little thing to talk about. So, Tim, I know you wanted to talk about this. The opening match was CM Punk versus Penta Oscuro. This match was awesome. Real clash of styles, I felt like, and it went very well together. The winner was CM Punk, but yeah, this match did not disappoint. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I love this match. Like, I'm good with Punk coming out and just facing people he's never faced before. Like, for the rest of the year, if he does these style matches, because these have been amazing. Yeah, it's been fun to watch. And I liked how in the beginning of the match, Punk did like that flip off the ropes, like he bounced off the rope and flipped and did the arm drag. And then he's like,
you don't really ever see him doing that. You don't really ever see him do that kind of stuff. Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah, he threw that in there.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tim?
Oh man, it just was cool. Like it was like such a switch up, and what I noticed was even JR was into it, which was funny because I didn't think he was gonna like it.
Yeah, and it was weird to see like Punk across the ring from Penta because I never thought I would see that either.
And this match had so much interesting back and forth. Yeah, there just was like some really cool back and forth. I loved it.
Yeah, like I was saying, their styles are so different, but it ended up working really well for this match. And both guys looked good in the end.
When and then when Punk messed up on that Hurricane off the top rope, that like he actually got me as in like I thought he hurt his knee for real.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember that spot. It's all coming back.
Because then Penta like tossed him into the other corner and he fell down before even getting to the turnbuckle. And I was like, whoa. It's like, don't be hurt now.
Yeah, it was wild because...
You got anything else to say, Tim? Oh.
Yeah, my only other thing I wanted to say about it, and I apologize to the listeners if they notice any weird audio. For the last 2 weeks, I've had like really bad internet issues. I'm trying to figure it out. That's why on one video I disappeared on one half, and then last week we didn't even have a video. So I just wanted to like point that out real quick. But the only other thing I wanted to say about the CM Punk match was that I don't know. In the beginning, when I saw them facing off, I was like, I don't know how this match is going to go. But I ended up being really into it. I liked it, and I think that the commentators
Did you guys even know the match was coming?
I had no idea.
Yeah, I had no idea either.
Right before Dynamite.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see it at all. I just was like, I wonder who's CM Punk's facing, and it was like Penta. I was like, what the hell? I was like, I'm in, but like, I just usually a match like that they would like promote way more, and I just didn't see anything.
Yeah.
So after that, I wanted to talk about Jurassic Express versus Red Dragon. Now, I believe this was for the AEW Tag Team Championships, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was.
Was that?
Was this tag match Jurassic Express versus Red Dragon for the Tag Team Championships? I thought it was.
Yeah, it's for its titles.
Okay. Winners were Jurassic Express, but I really like this match. I really enjoy both teams. And I'm a big fan. Especially I'm a big fan of Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. I love them teaming up. I'm glad they're in AEW. Jurassic Express is always good, but yeah, I really like this match. They for some reason couldn't. It's a title match. Don't save it for Battle of the Belts, but okay, that's fine. Same with the title match later on, but
yeah, I guess they only had a certain amount of time for Saturday's show, but
it's only an hour.
Weird
I get it.
Choosing of which titles.
Yeah.
But yeah, this match I thought it was great. The only thing I wish happened was more of like, I don't know, Red Dragon had like more offensive time, just because it feels like they lose all the time, and they're like, oh, we'll challenge for the titles, and it's not like they're taken seriously, really, because they keep losing.
Afterwards, if I'm not mistaken, they attack, and then FTR comes out, because FTR is like like baby faces basically now.
Yeah, they still come out of the heel tunnel. Yeah.
So,
And then did you see like they were pushing and shoving each other before the break?
Dude, when we just took a break a little bit ago, Jeremy and I were talking about wrestling shirts, and I'm like, man, FTR, I think that's going to be my next wrestling shirt. Jeremy, I think, is wearing one right now, actually, right?
Yeah,
6-star?
6-star shirt.
Dude, WWE
I'm like, man,
dropped the
FTR's
ball
got
with them. I don't know how you can't. I don't get
They're
it.
the best. I love them. That's so good.
Yeah.
So after that, we had a little bit more of this Wardlow MJF storyline. MJF was wrestling Captain Sean Dean, I believe.
Yep.
And Wardlow, did he just come out of the stands, or did they show him on the Titantron?
He dressed up
he was
as
he was a security guard. Yeah, he was a security guard, and MJF
I don't know
was
how
up against
no
the
one
barricade.
noticed this giant guy.
Yeah, right.
It's like, how do you not tell? This is Wardlow.
But yeah, so he, a bunch of people come out to try to hold him back, and he ends up getting pulled backstage, and he ends up grabbing the camera and says, Max, I'm going to keep coming after you until you let me off this contract. And it kind of scares MJF. And I think Captain Sean Dean didn't hit him. Did Captain Sean
Dean?
Dean?
Before that was like, because Wardlow's getting held back like against the ring, and MJF was up the ramp, and he couldn't get back in the ring. So he was getting count out.
So it was a count out, and that's how Captain Sean Dean won.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then he was like, he got on the mic, he was like, to the ref, he's like, Bryce, whatever that guy's name is, and he's like, I'll triple your salary, whatever Tony Khan's paying you. And then the ref was like, 10, and then just rang the bell.
I'll triple your salary.
So I don't know how long this Wardlow stuff can keep going on for, where he's just like banned from the building and keeps like trying to come back in. Like realistically, how long can he do it? But look, we've seen Hikaru Shida and Serena Deeb still an ongoing storyline. Like they can do storylines for months.
I mean, I'm enjoying this one still, so it's not like too stale yet.
Yeah, not yet, but
he does have a match next week or this Wednesday.
MJF does.
Wardlow, because he's facing the Butcher.
Oh, okay. So MJF's going to let him in for that match so that the Butcher can beat him down, but not beat him down.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So after that, Darby Allin issued a challenge to Andrade. I believe this is going to be our second coffin match we've seen.
Yep.
I think the first one was Darby Allin and Ethan Page, if I'm not mistaken.
It was.
Yeah. So yeah, Darby Allin, is that going to be on TV? Is that on Dynamite? Or
it's on Dynamite.
Okay. Darby versus Andrade. It's Darby wants to finally end it, he says. So that's,
finally ended.
We'll see. We will see. But let's get into the main event, because this main event was hard hitting. Tim, you wanted to talk about this too, I know. I think we all did. But Minoru Suzuki, the ROH television champion, faced Samoa Joe for the title. Let's just get into it, guys. This match, right from the start. I mean, every time Minoru Suzuki comes to AEW, he's beating the shit out of someone. Like, I think last night was Moxley. And
I mean, they beat the shit out of each other.
It felt like they were exchanging it felt like they were exchanging chops for like 5 to 10 like minutes, literally. But
I'm gonna
God,
be
they beat the
honest.
shit out of each other.
I'm gonna be honest. There's a little too many chops. I'm gonna be that guy.
It was overdone.
But they really, man, they went hard. Like I'm not hating. I'm just
see, the
like,
way
man,
they
you
do
guys
chops,
did a
I
lot of
noticed
chops.
The way they do the chops is that it's not like they're fighting back. It's like, let's test and see how much you can fucking take. And so it's like a competition. Yeah. It's not like they're in the middle of the brawl and like they're telling them to like hit me and then I hit you and like. But the winner was Samoa Joe. He's our new ROH television champion. Dude, this AEW now has so many titles in and out of it. Like it went from having a little bit now into like has a lot.
Yeah, it was before like everyone's like, should they add more titles? And they're like, we'll buy this other company and add all their titles.
All the titles. But afterwards, Jay Lethal comes out and the lights go out at some point, and
the lights shouldn't have gone out.
This crowd was dead for this guy. Satnam Singh, he's an ex-basketball player. Tony Schiavone has to like.
Dead. I was watching on TV.
Dude, the crowd was dead. I was dead. Tony Schiavone tries to save it. Like, I know this guy. I've seen him at the training center. Like, and everyone's like, "What?" It's just like a big, gigantic dude thrown in like an Omos spot or a Great Khali spot. Just comes in and just wrecks Samoa Joe after his win.
Yeah, I hated that, and I hated
the ending was good up until that. It's just like what?
They had a good hour 57-minute show.
I was just 3 minutes. Oh my god! Yeah. And that's how it went off the air.
Yeah, that was rough.
So that was my only gripe with this Dynamite show was the ending of it. What do you think about this guy, Tim, or how they debuted him?
I hated it. That was stupid.
But let's yeah, I mean that
I mean, is there anything else to say about it? Like the crowd was completely dead. And this is obviously a response to the Omos thing. I saw right through it. Like I was like, this is just them trying to do that. And thinking, and Tony Khan, look, I love it.
It's also
I'm a huge But this is just Tony Khan thinking in his ego that he can do this better than Vince. I'm sorry, but that's what I think. I mean, I literally just saw the Bobby Lashley Omos segment, and I was like, dude, this is what Tony Khan thinks he can do this better. And I'm like, I disagree. I think you should have stayed away from this. You should not have done this. It was a bad idea.
When I saw it, I was like, AEW's doing this. I thought it was something that AEW would never do. And they did it. And I was just like, oh, no.
Well, you know,
this is the part I hate.
One of the reasons they said they're going to do, which is another thing that I hate, they did it to expand their business in India. And I was like, I hate when WWE does that. And I hated when the AEW did it.
That's why Jinder was champ. And that did nothing for India. People didn't want him to be champion. Great Khali really didn't do anything.
So the thing that I'm going to say is also like how they, I think it was Battle of the Belts where that, what's his name? Satnam Singh. Yeah. He showed up again on Battle of the Belts, but they should have done it like this, like him coming out to the music with Jay Lethal as his debut instead of like turning the lights out because you think it's going to be like Cesaro or someone.
Yeah, right. Like,
man,
he should just walk down and like, who's that guy with him?
Yeah.
I got to say, you know, I don't even care. I don't even care if I'm like the Debbie Downer of this type of thing. Like, I used to hear other podcasts say, oh, they do the lights on, lights off thing too much. And I would be like, I like it. And like, I never, said anything bad about it. I got to say after this, I'm like, all right, you got to stop. Like, no. Like no more of this. Yeah. Only do it if it's like seriously important.
One bad lights off, lights on. One bad lights off, lights on just ruins it. It's like no more.
Yeah,
you're cut off. You're grounded.
It should only be for Yeah.
It does, though. It is. It's like you're grounded. You're in timeout. The next time you do this, it better be somebody like fucking dope. You know what I mean?
Be like Bray Wyatt or someone.
Right. It better be. You gotta. The next time you do it, you better freaking pick somebody good.
Everyone was just there, like confused, like what? Are we supposed to give a shit about
literally
this guy?
everybody in the,
Like,
I think everybody in the audience was so hyped because they were like, oh my god, the lights are off, something crazy is about to happen.
Yeah.
And then the lights come back on and then they're like, who the fuck is that?
Like the show went off with the crowd chanting, "Who are you?"
oh my god!
I know, it's so all right. There was such a roller coaster of emotions happening.
All right, I'm going to get into SmackDown really quick. So that wrapped up Dynamite. SmackDown, there was only one thing to talk about this weekend that I thought was worth talking about. RK Bro and the Usos are going to have a tag team title match to unify the championships at WrestleMania Backlash. Where do you guys see this going? Roman and the Bloodline is going to have all the gold.
Yeah, that's where I'm seeing it.
And then they're going to go for the Intercontinental. And then they're going to go for the U.S.
Yeah.
Well,
Can you imagine
hopefully,
like Roman coming out with like 4 titles on, or 3 titles?
Well, hopefully they remake that, unless it's still on WWE Shop. Hopefully, if they do get all the gold, they'll remake that white T-shirt of them all chilling at the table or whatever. Because I was like, man, I should have got that the first. Yeah, I should have got that the first time they printed it, but I would love to see a redone version, but they got all the gold. That'd be sick. I would buy that shit.
So I'm looking forward to them doing that, but I think the Usos are going to win, and that's going to be that. Let's get into Rampage though. The Blackpool Combat Club, all 3 members now. There was a 6-man tag team match. Wheeler Yuta is now part of Blackpool Combat Club. They face the Gun Club, Austin and Colt, and Billy Ass. They're all on a team. And I mean, dude, crowd is way behind Yuta. They love him. They were chanting for him. This team is just vicious, and the Gun Club, who has won match after match after match, lost to Blackpool Combat Club. So it was a good debut for the full group. William Regal, every time the team wrestles, he's on the commentary, so that's always fun to hear. The man with the mask. Yeah. You do nothing for me. So,
I think
hello, man with the mask.
The Blackpool Combat Club, they might be like the best thing AEW has right now.
It might be the what?
The best thing that AEW has right now.
They're the only ones I feel like they can go up against the House of Black. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because every time they come out, it's like I always want to watch either for Regal, like cut in a promo, or the wrestling for all 3 of them.
Yeah.
I love it.
What was announced though for next week, and I'm excited to see this, is Dustin Rhodes challenge CM Punk to a match next week. This is gonna be some nice old school wrestling. I feel like
I can't wait.
It's gonna be fun.
This is gonna be up fun. My alley. I want to see some holds. I want to see some arm drags. I want to see some psychology. Oh man, I'm ready.
The main event to Rampage this week though was Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole in a Texas Death Match. For once, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the Texas Death Match.
This is a pretty good one.
I actually enjoyed this match. The final spot was Adam Page put a crown of barbed wire on Adam Cole's head like he's Jesus, and did the dead shot through a table off of the apron.
I thought that was so great. People were upset about it, but I loved it.
He didn't pin him though. He would stay on the ground past 10, right? I believe.
Yeah, it was basically like a last man standing match.
Yeah. So your winner, and he retained, was Adam Page. I don't know where you go with Adam Cole from here. I mean, of course, AEW could do another title match. How many chances, though, can Adam Cole get? Or CM Punk goes after Adam Page next. You know, he said that he wanted the title, so we'll just have to see.
The match was pretty brutal.
I don't know.
No, I'm sorry I had to interrupt. I just was to say the match was pretty brutal overall. It just was like, I'm gonna be honest here. I don't know if they did that. I think the crown thing was just bad timing. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, I think that's just like one of those, like, do you think they really went out of their way to like be that? Like, I can see why people, if I can see why people, if they practice that faith, would be like, oh, that's like, you know, messed up or whatever. But it's like, at the same time, I'm like, I think it was kind of like just a thing that they did. I don't think they were like, hey, it's Easter. Let's do this.
MJF's out here saying he's going to crucify Wardlow. Or crucify, yeah.
Yeah. I don't see a problem with it at all, but I don't know. People just get offended by a lot of things right now.
This is true.
Well, yeah, and you know that the Young Bucks and like Jericho and a lot of those guys are very much like into that world. So it's like one of those things where it's like, I really think like if it was like something deliberate, like somebody wouldn't have went for it. I'm really doubt. I think here's what I'm saying. I'm just going to cut it short. I think people are overthinking it. And that's it.
And with that being said, Battle of the Belts 2.
All right.
This 1 hour show open. All right. This 1 hour show opened up with Scorpio Sky versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship. Look, guys, the audience is mixed when it comes to Sammy Guevara now. They don't like all the Ty Conti and the making out and all that shit.
Ever since they got together, they're obnoxious. Like, that's it. That's why.
Yeah.
I don't want to see anybody make out.
The match itself was actually good, but the winner was Sammy Guevara. Like, why even take the belt off him? I don't.
3-time.
He's now the 3-time champ. Scorpio's guy just got it. Sammy used a low blow to do his go to hell move. You know, do you guys think this is a heel turn coming?
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because I feel like they know the crowd's going to keep turning.
The crowd cheered for Paige Van Zandt to come out to attack Ty Conti. Like,
yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like how they. I don't know. Especially on like just social media and everything between those two, they are kind of like, I don't know. They seem like really nice people.
Making out up the ramp. They were just making out up the ramp and afterwards. But our next match, I was disappointed in Dalton Castle with the boys versus Jonathan Gresham for the ROH World Title. This match, I'm disappointed. Not that it was bad, that it should have been longer. I don't think it felt like a mid-card match, and it was for the fucking ROH championship. And I felt like right when it was finally like really ramping up, it was over. The winner was Jonathan Gresham. Afterwards, Jay Lethal and Satam Singh come out to attack, and Samoa Joe comes out to save him with a lead pipe in his hand. No attacks actually happened, but Samoa Joe came out to save Gresham. They touch belts and both hold him up. I really enjoyed the match. I just wish it was longer. And it was getting really good. It made the ROH title not feel important.
Yeah,
they should have ended the show with this also, because this was the wrong main event coming up for this show. And I get it; they've been pushing the women's division. The past Battle of the Belts was the main event was Britt Baker versus Riho. But there was nothing special about this match. I don't know if it's Nyla Rose. I don't know if Thunder Rosa is better hunting for the title than being the champion. This is only her first defense. But we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, if the monster Nyla Rose can't beat Thunder Rosa, then who's going to beat Thunder Rosa? Yeah. You know, there was just the match was what it was. I didn't. I don't know. Battle of the Belts was okay. I never leave watching the first Battle of the Belts. Like, that was amazing. Like, it's an hour show. They cram in 3 title matches. First, like I said, the first match of this card was good. I liked it. Like, wrestling wise, Scorpio Sky versus Sammy Guevara, Dalton Castle with the boys versus Jonathan Grisham. Should have been longer. I just felt like they didn't get enough time, but it was good up until then. And then this last match I felt was kind of flat. But yeah, Tim, that wraps up Battle of the Belts and the rest of the show.
That about wraps up the rest of the show, my guys. Well, that was episode 32, and we appreciate you joining us. I've been mentioning this every episode, but in a few weeks, well, I guess more than a few weeks, we're all going to be going to that AEW Dynamite together. So that's pretty exciting. And we'll be doing some video footage and hopefully add some stuff to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube, and please like and subscribe. It would mean so much to us. Follow us on Twitter at the PW Fan. On Instagram, we're at the PW Fan as well. Follow Andy's Funko Pop collection because my man needs followers, guys. We'll do the desperate plug. He needs some followers at the 410 Fan Bros. Give this man a few follows.
Yes.
All right. Well, anyway, thanks again so much for joining us. And join us next week for episode 33, where we talk all things pro wrestling. Bye-bye, everybody.